सर्ववेदा सिद्धांत गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविंदं परमानंदं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्. Welcome back to this study of Vivekacūḍāmaṇi. We studied some of the preliminary qualities of a sadhaka or a spiritual aspirant, which is known as sadhana chatushtaya. 4 sadhanas. Chatushtaya means 4, a group of 4. And what are those? Just recall. Adau nitya anitya vastu vivekaha. This differentiation between what is permanent and what is temporary. This is nitya anitya vastu vivekaha. Viveka is one thing which we should always keep awakened in us. Viveka means this power of discrimination. Nowadays, of course, this term discrimination is not well understood, or it is wrongly used here, but in the Western world especially. But when it applies to philosophy, especially Vedanta philosophy, this term discrimination holds great importance in our lives. So to know what is right and what is wrong. Every being, especially human beings, have this tendency or this capability of discriminating, of separating what is good and what is bad. In fact, all the beings have it, more so the human beings. And therefore, this has to be used to its fullest extent in our lives. Nitya Anitya Vastu. What is Nitya Anitya? We will come to know about it later also. We will be taking this topic quite often. And then Iha Amutra Phalabhoga Viraga. Viraga means giving up, sacrificing of Iha here. Amutra, that means there. There means afterlife. In this life and the afterlife, we want to enjoy. So this desire to enjoy here as well as hereafter. Why does he say that we should give up? Because anything that we desire or anything that we enjoy has or comes along with it, brings along with it misery as well. There is nothing in this world which will give us only joy. Wherever there is joy, there is also dukkha or misery. This has to be very well deep-rooted in our understanding. That's why he said, Nityaha amutra phalabhoga. So talking about the life hereafter that I will enjoy in heaven and so on and so forth, which some religions very blatantly tell their followers to follow. That has to be avoided. That is what he says. Tad anantaram. Then Shama Adi Shatka Sampatti. Shama Dama Uparati Titiksha Shraddha Samadhana. These are the 6 treasures that one must accumulate. I'm using the term accumulation very well knowingly. Ultimately, all this also will go away. But if we want to really take up this spiritual life, if we want to attain to mukti, which is the last one that he talks about, then shama, dhamma, etc. are important. So we have studied the Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, these four. Now he comes to the fifth virtue, or I will even call it as a treasure, as Shraddha. So I will not go back into the previous ones. So I will continue with Shraddha. Now but I would request all of you to ponder over that one term Titiksha a few times. Titiksha means not just tolerance, not mere tolerance, but acceptance that this is the reality, that I need to deal with it. I have no escape from it. Therefore, I will forbear. Sha. Sri Ramakrishna used to say there are three sas in Sanskrit language. Sa, Dantya, that means that which comes from to the tip of the lips, Dantya, or the dental, it is called dental, and Dantya, and then Sha, Talavya Sha, that means that which touches. When you say that Sha, then your tongue will touch the top of the palate. That is Sha. Sha is that which rolls over from the throat. Sha. So your tongue also rolls over. Sa, Sha, Sha. But these are the three different S and SH and Sha. How to say that is very difficult. SHHA maybe Sha. So Sha, Sa, Sha, Sha. So Sri Ramakrishna used to use this example and say, look here, our language has got three Sas. In the place that Sri Ramakrishna was born, that in that part of the country, they used to use these three Sas similarly. That means the same intonation. They were not distinguishing these three Sas. So they used to say Sha, Sha, Sha. They didn't say Sa, Sha, Sha, but Sha, Sha, Sha. Sha means Sa, Saha. That means bear, forbear. That's Sri Ramakrishna used to make fun of this one, and he used to say, look here, even in our language, the linguistic, what shall I say, elders have given us these three shas, impressing upon us the need to forbear, not once, but three times. So that is to say, this emphasis is given for forbearance. In our life, if we do not forbear, then we perish. That is the known fact in our lives. We shall go to the next one, Shraddha. That is the fifth treasure. Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satyabuddhyavadaranam Sa Shraddha Katita Sadbiryaya Vastu Upalabhyate. Guruvakyasya, Shastrasya and Guruvakyasya Satya Buddhi Avadharanam. Avadharanam means accepting. Dharana means to hold on to something. And avadharana means fully holding on to it. That is accepting, make it your very own. What is it? Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satya Buddhi. The truth of what the Shastra, that means the scriptures, and the Guru Vakya, that means the instructions of the Guru. acceptance by firm judgment as true of what the scriptures and the Guru instruct, is called by sages as Shraddha or faith, by means of which the reality is perceived. See, he uses these two terms, Shastra. Thus, it comes from the root, Sanskrit root, Shas. Shas means to punish or also to instruct. So, if we have to live in the world and have our existence, we need two things. One is we need Shastra and we need Shastra. These two are very important. Shastra is a tool. Weapons are also known as Shastras. So there is one is called as Astra and the other is Shastra. See, Astra is that which you throw with your hand. In olden days, they used to throw the bhalla, that is the spears and other things, and also swords, etc. That is called as Astra. And then Shastra. Shastra is those things which you hold on to firmly, like a revolver or some such things, and use it to defend oneself. One is to hurt the other is to defend oneself. Now, Shastra has got both of these. It defends oneself from the onslaught of the other persons who hurl abuses at us or hurl incoherent arguments towards us. And it also tries to defend oneself and to hurt the other person as well. So Shastra gives both of these tools to us. One is to throw arguments at others and also to defend oneself. So Shastra is something which is very important. Of course, for Hindus, Vedas are known as the ultimate of all Shastras. So whatever the Vedas enjoin us or ask us to do, we need to take note of it and adopt it in our lives. So Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya, the words of the Guru. See, this great importance is given in Hinduism especially to the form of a guru or to the nature of a guru. So whatever he or she, the guru, says to you, you need to obey it implicitly. That is the tradition. Of course, that is true, but also you need to use your common sense when you follow somebody. That has to be kept in your mind. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhi Avataranam Sa Shraddha Katita. There are two words in Sanskrit as well as in Hindi. One is Shraddha and the other is known as Vishvasa. Vishvasa means faith in somebody. Faith in somebody, belief. I will rather use the word belief. You believe. The child shows a boy to the little one and says, that is your brother. These are Sri Ramakrishna's example. And the child believes 100% that is my brother. Will not question at all. That is called as belief. Okay. And Shraddha is a deep-rooted faith in the words of the mother. A deep-rooted faith in the words of the mother will never question why he looks different and why am I different. No, that one should never ask. That is the idea. Shraddha is something which is very spiritual and Vishwasa is that which is emotional, you can say, that which is very emotional. Shraddha is that which is very deep-rooted spiritual experience. So, Satya Buddhi Avadharanam, ascertaining through reason the truth of what is taught. See, Sri Ramakrishna used to say that I have given you whatever I have to give. Now, you accept it by discarding the head and tail of it. He was giving an example from the very popular understanding in Bengal, especially because in Bengal they are very fond of fish, eating fish. So when they cook a meal, they will discard the head and the tail. So that's why Sri Ramakrishna used to say, take the essence and discard all the unnecessary things or that which is not of relevance to you. So that's what they you ascertain this truth of what is taught, and you go from the level of mere belief to ascertaining the truth, or we can even call it as faith. Satya Buddhi Avadharana. See, every religion or every branch of knowledge, be it science or technology or whatever it is, all of them give us their conclusions about their truths or their experiences. And we must have faith in the teachers of these people who teach us, whether it be the technical instructor or the professor of science, whichever it is. We should have that faith in that person. We cannot just start disbelieving from day one. That is what it says. We must have this belief, sa shraddha. See, in the Katha Upanishad, we come across a very beautiful statement. The young Nachiketa goes to the Lord of Death, Yama, because his father had told him, I am giving you to the Lord of Death. I believe you all know the story, but I will repeat it once again. So, Uddalaka was this father, and he was performing a great sacrifice, a great ceremony. And one of the conditions of this ceremony is that the performer of this ceremony, called Yajamana, has to give the best that he has. But instead of giving away the best that he had, his father, who was rather greedy, was giving away those cows which would never be eating much, which would never give any milk. That is to say, all the third-rated things, objects, he was giving it away. Seeing this, the Upanishad says, Shraddha Avivesha. This great Shraddha, faith, or faith about the truth, entered into him. That's a beautiful expression, which I have not come across anywhere else. Shraddha Avivesha. It just overcame him. It came and it sat within him. And it made him think, my father has taken the vow to give away the best. And here he is giving away the worst. So as a son, it is my duty to correct this. And therefore he goes to his father, who was engaged in the sacrificial rites, and he says, Father, you love me very much. Yes, son. So you think that I am your best possession? Yes, you are my best asset. Then whom are you giving me away to? So, Shraddha Avivesha. His father ignores him once, twice, but when the child keeps on repeating, Nachiketa keeps on repeating the question, the father becomes very angry, and in a rage he tells him, I give you to Yama, that means the Lord of Death. And because the Shraddha had entered into this boy's heart, he goes to the abode of Lord Yama, waits there at the door of Yama's gates for 3 days and 3 nights without eating anything, drinking anything, because Yama had gone on his errands. And when he returns, he sees this young, brilliant boy sitting outside his gate. And he says, I am very sorry you have come here, so please come. And he treats him royally. And then, of course, because he had this Shraddha within him, Nachiketa dares ask Yama questions about life, questions about the yajna, that means the sacrificial rites, etc., and also requests that his father should be forgiven and that he should recognize him when he goes back home, and that he should be as loving as he used to be before. So that is to say, when this Shraddha, when this faith, deep faith in the truth of reality enters into a personality, a person rather, then one will be guided or goaded towards knowing the reality in its fullest form. That's what happened to the young Nachiketa. So, Shraddha Avivesha. Shraddha in the is a very important word that he says here. And here there is a footnote. Shraddha, acceptance, need not to be confused with what is generally called blind acceptance. The whole mind must attain to that perfect state of assured reliance on the truth of instructions received, without which a wholehearted, one-pointed practice of those instructions is not possible. So Shraddha must become very, very deep-rooted within us. Tulsidas, the famous author of the Ramacharita-manas, he very beautifully writes, or he composes one of the invocatory verses to the Ramacharita-manas. And there he says, Bhavani Shankarau Vande Shraddha Vishwasarupinau. And he says there, Bhavani Shankarau Vande. I bow down to Bhavani, that is the Divine Mother, and Shankara, that means Lord Shiva, Vande. And what are the nature of these two? Shraddha and Vishwasa. Shraddha is this deep-rooted faith by which one gets released. That is the Divine Mother. And then Shankara is Vishwasa. He is of the nature of belief. One, Sri Ramakrishna says, if you believe that you will have mukti when you go to Varanasi, you will definitely be released. And Sri Ramakrishna himself saw this when he went to Varanasi in probably 1850s. When he went there, as he was sitting on the Manikarnika Ghat, where the bodies are all cremated, there he saw this wonderful vision that Lord, the Divine Mother, was taking the bodies or the souls of the departed on her lap, and then Lord Shiva would then utter the Taraka mantra, that means the mantra which will release the soul from their bondages. So Sri Ramakrishna himself saw that, and therefore he says, well, if you have the Vishwasa, if you have the belief that by going to Varanasi and dying over there, you will be released, here is this evidence that it is definitely happens. Of course, if you don't believe in it, then the effect will not be that great. Shraddha, Vishwasa, Rupino. So Gita also says in the Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter, it says, Yo yat shraddhaha sa eva saha. A person is, a man is man only in the measure of the shraddha he possesses. If you have implicit faith, implicit shraddha, then you will immediately attain to liberation. See, that is, shraddha is so very important in our life. Now, we may have shraddha in God, we may have shraddha in the words of the Guru, but if we do not have shraddha within ourselves, if we do not have that implicit faith within oneself that I shall achieve to the highest and that I shall be released from this bondage, if we do not have that kind of a firm, unshakable faith, if we do not have this, then we will not be able to go anywhere. Therefore, while we may have belief in God, while we may have belief in the words of Guru, that's all okay, perfectly all right. But if you do not have belief in your own self, then nothing can happen to you. Nothing can be achieved. Therefore, all these three things has to be kept in mind while we are discussing this subject of Shraddha. Shraddha, Sri Shankaracharya elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita Bhashya, I think he says, what is Shraddha? Astikya buddhiriti Shraddha. Astikya buddhi, positive attitude oriented reason. Astikya buddhi is positive attitude oriented. With what attitude are you approaching with it? Are you approaching the subject with positivity or with negativity? This is something which we need to understand. Therefore, astikya buddhi, that this will definitely be beneficial to me, or this will definitely give me the solution. If I have that kind of a faith, then it will definitely be useful, successful in our day-to-day life. Astikya buddhi. Of course, astikya buddhi also can be interpreted as faith in the divine. Astitva iti astikya buddhi. It means God is definitely there and that I can achieve or I can reach, I can realize God. This also has to be very much born in our mind. In fact, there has been experiments being made. I think as doctors, you know better about this subject. That experiments have been made wherein people who have got some incurable diseases have been able to overcome them by their by their implicit faith or their deep faith that they can get well and they can be cured. So you will have probably you are the best persons to talk about it. So astikya buddhi is so very important. Therefore, shraddha is very, very important in our spiritual life. Now we go to the next discipline called samadhana. What does he say? 26th verse. Sarvada sthapanam buddhehe shuddhe brahmani sarvada. tat samadhanamityuktam natu chittasya lalanam. Sarvada buddhehe sthapanam. One must always concentrate, or one must keep. Sthapanam means to establish. Buddhehe, that means the intellect. In what? Shuddhe Brahmani, Sarvada Shuddhe Brahmani. At all times, in the thought of the Shuddha Brahma, that means ever pure Brahman. Tat Samadhanam iti Uktam. And that is known as Samadhana, or self-settledness. And there is a footnote again, that is not the mere intellectual or philosophical satisfaction in thinking of or studying the truth. The intellect must be sought to be resolved into the higher activity of concentration on the truth. See, this is very important. When we keep our mind on the lower objects, that is on the lower levels, the body and the mind, etc., it will, the mind will naturally be immersed in that, and it will not raise its understanding more than that. But if our intellect becomes purified, and if it starts thinking of or focusing all of its energies, physical as well as mental energies, if it can focus all of its energies on the Shuddha Brahma, that means on the pure consciousness or pure Brahman, then one has achieved to the highest samadhi can be achieved. So, in other words, Sri Ramakrishna says in simpler words, he says that keep your mind on God. As much as you can keep focused your attention on God or on spiritual subjects, so much will your mind be away, or keep you away from mischievous thoughts or thoughts that weaken you. So, even as a psychologist and psychiatrist, you do prescribe this, that you take away your mind from those thoughts that debilitate you, that thoughts that weaken you. Rather, focus all of your attention on that which gives you strength. So this is what psychology says. So spiritual gurus also say the same thing, or rather they say, instead of merely thinking of something that is strong, why don't you think of that which is the absolute, that which is the very source of all strength, that which is the very source of the whole of the universe, that is Brahman. In ordinary words, focus your mind on the divine. Sarvada sthapanam, that is something which is a great ask from every one of us. Sarvada, at all times. One of our Swamis used to say, there is no holiday in spiritual life. You may have holiday in your social life and family life and all that. It is necessary. But in spiritual life, you do not have a holiday at all. All the time, you should be concentrating, focusing on the one thing that is of greatest importance, that is the divine, Brahman, Brahma, Jnana. Those sarva. That is called as Samadhanam. Another, if we take the Sanskrit language, Samadhana also means settling down things. Samadhana. See? Settling down things. A third meaning is balance. Samadhana. Balance is also another meaning of Samadhana. So all these are there, but Shankaracharya very particularly uses this this interpretation of Sthapanam Shuddhe Brahmani. Buddhi, the buddhi of the intellect, must be established in the Supreme Being at all times. See, if there is a higher ideal in our life, if we know that the truth is staring at our faces, I'm just using a very common term, when we have that knowledge, we will not err. We will not make a mistake. That is the idea. So if we can think of the divine, instead of worrying about what is happening to me, what will happen to me, which is our constant worries all the time, if we can raise our consciousness to that level. One of our Swamis, Swami Yatishwaranandaji, used to say that first locate your center of consciousness. That is, first locate who you are, what you are. Once you establish yourself in that, you stay in that center and not swerve here or there. Stay in that center. My real identity is that I am a child of the divine, according to the duality, Dvaita. But if I go a little higher, I will say, my identity is that I am Brahman. So if I can keep that identity all the time and not just be bothered about my apparent identity, that I am so and so, I live here at such and such a place, and all of these adjuncts, they are all mere adjuncts. So if we can give up those adjuncts and establish ourselves in the thought that I am divine, that I am child of the divine, or I am divine. If I can establish that identity at all times, that is called as finding the center of our consciousness. That is my real reality. And naturally, when I find something that is much more nobler, that is much more treasurable, much more much more expensive, then naturally I will not hold on to that which is cheap. See, Sri Ramakrishna used to say that a person who has tasted the sugar candy drink will not care for a drink that is made of mere molasses. That is to say, he has tasted that which is superior. So at least we should make an effort in our life to taste a little bit of that. And once we get to taste that, then it will catch me. Sri Ramakrishna was good at giving examples. So he used to say, a man had a peacock coming to his garden regularly. It started coming and then eating all the worms, etc. And one day, this man gave the peacock a little bit of opium. In those days, opium was very common in Sri Ramakrishna's time. That was, if one had colic pain and all that, they would take a little bit of opium. And so he gave a little bit of opium to this peacock. And this peacock became a regular visitor at the house, every day coming and knocking at his door, asking for a little bit of the opium. So we can say that once we get established, once we get a taste of the divine in our life, then we will always go back to that all the time. Whatever trials and tribulations may come in our lives, we will go back to that. And that is called as samadhana. That means we get established in that. So with this verse ends the Shat Sampatti, the 6 treasures, beginning with Shama and ending in Samadhana. And we can stop here for today, and then we will take up the next one, that is the last item in the fourfold discipline, called the mumukshutva, or the desire to be free. So that will come in the next verse. Ahankara didehantan bandhana jnana kalpitan swaswarupa avabodhe namoktamiccha mumukshata. We will take that up when we meet again. So we have, if we want to discuss anything, or if you have any comments or doubts, we can discuss it now for the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Which is just one quick one.
Mm-hmm.
While we wait for other people to come up with questions. So we say that you should have Shraddha in God. Sometimes we say we should have Vishwas in God.
We begin with Vishwasa.
And then graduate to Shraddha.
And then we reach Shraddha. Because just mere belief is very important in our life. Mere belief, because somebody has said that it is there, that this is God is. We have not seen, or neither has the person who has seen God naturally. So who has told about God has seen God, but we believe in it. And then slowly and slowly we make an inquiry. That is why he has used the term buddhi. If the buddhi is the intellect, is that which analyzes it, and says, well, is it real? Is it true? Is it that which promises us? So if we can have all of these questions answered, then Shraddha will come by itself in us. And once you have that implicit Shraddha, we should not swerve from it. We should not go away from it. We should hold on to it as if it is our very existence. Okay, Shraddha is a deep-rooted one. There is one Swami Ramanandacharya. He said, Shraddha comes when the intellect is fully satisfied. See, Shraddha comes. Vishwasa comes when the heart is satisfied. So Shraddha is also, Vishwasa is essential, Vishwasa is necessary, but Shraddha is most important.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Swamiji, one more question.
Yes.
Like we are all starters in the spiritual journey, right? How do we ensure our intellect is of right? I mean, it wouldn't be as as experienced to do a viveka or to discriminate.
Yeah. But no, you have a very pertinent question over there. Yes. And that is why we begin with Vishwasa. We begin with belief. There is no doubt about that. Our parents have said, and we have read in books, etc. And slowly we try to to study, for example, books like the Bhagavad Gita or the Vivekacūḍāmaṇi or any other great scriptures, as you keep on dwelling on this, as you keep on intellectually being engaged in such thoughts, slowly and slowly you will see many questions will arise in your mind. The intellect will be crowded with a lot of questions, and one by one you keep on asking. See, to give you one definitive answer to that is that if you keep asking that question to yourself, not to the others, keep on asking that question that comes into your mind to yourself. How is it possible, or how is it right? Keep on asking that question, not once, but twice, by 100 times, 200 times. Keep on asking that question. From within, the voice of conscience that is there within every one of us, it will say, oh, this is what it is. And then it will reveal its meaning to you. Therefore, again and again and again and again, Sri Ramakrishna used to give this example that the blacksmith would put the hot iron on the anvil, and with a hammer will go on hammering at it again and again and again and again until it takes its shape. So again and again we need to do that. So punah punaha, it is said in the scriptures. Punah punaha means time and again. Again and again you ask these questions of yourself. There is one verse. Asukte ramrute jnanam nayet vedanta chintanat. That means whether you are lying down or whether you are talking to somebody, at one corner of your mind, let this inquiry be strong. Keep on asking this question. Do not give it up. Do not give it up. I don't know whether that answers your question.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Swamiji.
Swamiji, Lord Krishna also says in Gita, right, that Shraddhaman lavate
tatparaha samyata indriyas. So he gives the second division to the yogi. Samyata indriya means the yogi. But he gives more importance to Shraddhavan, the one who is possessed of this Shraddha. So Shraddha means one who is totally convinced and is not having any doubt about reality, what is right and what is what must be achieved. So he is totally in sync, as we call it, totally in sync with reality.
So does it mean that when one surrenders, then the attainment of jnana is easier?
Definitely. But the ego is that which does not allow us to surrender so easily. It will just keep on raising its dirty head all the time. So that ego has to go. Only when ego goes, then only would real Shraddha enter into your heart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I have an announcement. In the month of June, I have something on the 13th. So we are supposed to meet on. Next, we are meeting on the 30th of May. And then we are supposed to meet on 13th. I won't be able to meet on the 13th. Do you want to do it another day, we shall discuss it next week, on the 30th when we meet again, we shall discuss it. And if we can postpone it to 14th, that's okay. It is 14th Friday. We can just for that week only, we can just postpone it to 14th. Is it okay? You let me know. Keep well. Namaste.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.